Tonight's agenda, the first item on the agenda is approval for the meetings for 2021. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I think we'll do everything by unanimous consent unless I see an objection. Second item on the agenda, DPW updates. Do we have anything?
Yeah, so we've been very busy. Our contracts, we put out a bid for engineering consultant services, and yesterday our procurement office sent out the contracts and they've been signed. So we're bringing aboard 6 different engineering consultants that are going to help us with everything from the John Fitch Highway project to the rate study for sewer and water, to designing things that are outside our knowledge, like walls and bridges, things of more technical things like that. So that's moving forward nicely. We put out our bids for sidewalk work next year, which will be Electric Avenue. We're going to be putting crosswalks across Electric at Mount Elam and over by the Knights of Columbus.
Okay, yeah.
Every road. And then we're also going to be doing all the sidewalks on Summer Street from Moran Square up to Harvard. So that contract is out to do all those sidewalks. Then afterwards, we're working on our bid documents for paving work next year. We're going to pave Summer Street after the sidewalks are done. The other contractor will come in and pave from Harvard to Moran Square. And then we're hoping to get some of the, your neck of the woods, Councilor Kuchar, Williams Road, McIntyre.
Thank God. Those are almost dirt roads up there.
Yeah, we might even, if we have enough money, we might even hit Ashburnham Hill Road there. The bombing range, as you call it, right?
Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad at the end up there.
It is. It truly is.
Yeah, the only thing I have with paving is it makes traffic go quicker. And in those small communities, it makes me a little nervous because people pick up the pace when there's a slick road, nice and paved. So,
yeah, so like on Crawford Street, when we repaved that, we painted the lines 11 feet. So that kind of gives you like, oh, it's a little narrower, tries to slow people down, and also give bike. We don't call it a bike lane because the traffic's so fast, but there's a 5-foot shoulder. If anybody wants to bike or walk, they can use the shoulder. We just don't call it a bike lane because we don't want to encourage people.
Right.
You did that on Franklin too, right?
On Franklin, yeah, a little bit. So yeah, with line striping, we try to slow people down. So we've been very busy with all those. John Fitch Highway project is going to be kicking off here soon. We're working on logos and public outreach. There's going to be a lot of public outreach, public meetings. There's going to be a coloring contest for the kids. So we're working. So we have a lot going on, and of course, winter we're doing plowing, and also they've been cleaning up the yard. It looks amazing. The whole yard's been cleaned up. So the employees are very happy with that.
Are we going to have DPW Day?
Yeah, hopefully we can have DPW Day, and the place will be all cleaned up, and we look forward to having DPW again once the COVID gets over.
Well, I have to say, COVID has made people very motivated. People are getting a lot of things done. I mean, just personally and professionally.
Yeah.
Everybody's motivated. So I think maybe it was a good thing in one aspect. So, all right, we'll head on to the agenda items. Anybody else have anything to add before I continue? Okay. So the first item on the agenda is 2/28/20. Toriano and Mariah Pridgeon and various residents of Fitchburg to petition for a Black Lives Matter banner to be put up at the stone wall on Kimball Street, passing through the intersection. Do we have any updates on that?
Nick, do you know anything about the banner?
about the banner, the Black Lives Matter
Yeah,
banner?
so let me turn up the volume.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sure-
sorry.
Yeah, so basically, we don't, so DPW, you know, we have a lot of infrastructure. We have dams, bridges, roads, sidewalks, bridge, you know, we have a lot of retaining walls. We don't allow any painting or any, you know, advertisement or, you know, political slogans or anything like that on our infrastructure. The only time we allow any sort of art, let's say, or, you know, murals of that kind would be like in the parks. And, you know, like, you know, you see the parks sometimes have like, you know, if it's park related, like we allow art that is, you know, but on our infrastructure, we don't put up, we just simply don't, you know, because then, you know, then everybody would want their message on there and, you know, people would be fighting for their message or, you know, so we don't really, that's not something we do, I guess, it's the short answer.
Can I just sort of ask this, is it on the same idea as like if you're running for an office that we wouldn't be able to put our political sign on a wall? It's on the same idea?
Yeah, so basically all the political signs that you see, you know, all the yard sign, if they're in the right of way, they're technically trash. And, you know, we just kind of, you know, okay, we kind of ignore it a little bit, but, you know, if somebody puts out, you know, a lot of people think their yard goes all the way to the pavement, you know, if somebody puts a sign, you know, within, you know, we kind of just, you know, we don't, you know, it's sort of a fine line there, but, yeah, we don't, you know, if you came and said, you want your sign on a bridge, we would say, no, like, that's not what we're here for. We don't, you know what I mean? We wouldn't allow you to put a sign on a bridge or on a traffic light or things like that. We just, go ahead, Councilor Van Seen.
If you don't mind, Madam Chair, I'm curious, do you know where exactly this is proposed? Is it at the intersection of Kimball and Putnam, at that wall there, or I'm a little, just trying to understand what exactly here is
Yeah,
proposed?
so the petition says they want to paint, they said they want our banner painted on the stone wall on Kimball Street, passing through the intersection. So my understanding is, you know, there's a big retaining wall on Kimball Street.
Yeah, there is. There's a big retaining wall there.
Yeah, the one right across from,
FATV.
yeah, that's the wall I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
That goes all the way to the length of Kimball Street.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that wall is, you know, it's a historic granite wall. It's, you know, again, it's one of those, you know, we don't want anybody, like if somebody painted graffiti on it, we would remove it. You know what I mean? We just don't want anybody painting on the walls. We don't want to sell space on the walls. That's, I guess.
Motion to withdraw.
Do I have a second?
I'll give a second, but I would like to speak on the motion.
Oh. Okay.
I don't have any problems with the Black Lives Matter movement, and I don't have any problem with the city expressing affirmation of those goals expressed in terms of equal protection of the law and fairness and protection for minorities and police treatment. I am a little concerned about the idea of the proposal in that I don't know, it talks about a banner, but is it painting or is it a physical banner? I have concerns about the upkeep, about how will it be done and how will it last? Will it not look very good very quickly? And I also do have some concerns about using public infrastructure to make statements. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad statement for the city to make, but I'm just wondering if the public works is not the correct venue to make this decision, that this really is part of a larger message that has to be talked about and discussed and decision made, not necessarily in a public works format.
So I guess, yeah, I think what you're saying is the message itself, like, I don't care about the message. It could be any message. My answer would be the same. I think what you're saying is the message needs to be discussed outside of Public Works, but any decision on whether to, what happens to, infrastructure, that's why it's in Public Works, because it's, DPW infrastructure.
And I can understand that, but I don't think this is necessary. It involves infrastructure, that's something being either placed or painted on infrastructure, but this isn't an infrastructure decision. This is a broader statement, and I don't necessarily if it's a political statement or a human rights statement, but I don't know that this is the correct venue to discuss that kind of messaging that the city's going to give. I think this is a forum that we decide, what do we fix or repair?
So I think, so what you're proposing is, referring it to another committee?
And that's my question. I'm not
No, what committee?
quite certain what the appropriate committee would be to refer it to.
Okay,
But
So I
I'm not
believe
sure
the
that
reason it
DPW
did-
is
come to this committee was because they wanted to place it on public property,
Mhm.
city property, which is why it came to this committee.
Yeah,
So I guess the question is, what committee does it need to be referred to? So would that be Bernie?
Well, I was just gonna say, I wouldn't be in favor of painting the slogan on the wall itself, but I might be in favor of an actual banner if they're gonna upkeep the banner, make sure it doesn't get taken away. But the only committee I think maybe it needs to be referred to maybe is legislative affairs. I don't
I
know.
wondered about that too.
Yeah, maybe that would be the right thing to do so that we can have a broader discussion. Because when you think about Black Lives Matter being painted on infrastructure, you think about Washington DC, where they painted it right on the road, and they approved that in Washington DC. So, that I don't know where that decision was made. I'm sure it wasn't made by the Public Works Committee in Washington DC. It probably was made by a different committee, different council, whatever.
Yeah, let me just interject. So the roadways, you can't just paint whatever you want on the roadways. You got to follow the MUTCD, the Manual of Uniform Traffic Control Devices. Yellow has a specific meaning.
Mhm.
Double yellow lines have a specific meaning. A white line has a specific meaning. Crosswalks have to be white paint. They have to be a certain shape. You can't just start painting whatever you want on the roadway, because some people, I see these paint, and the FHWA has actually come out against those kind of things. You can't paint a mural on a road, because the motorist, you understand double yellow, you understand white, you understand a crosswalk. Now you come across this thing and there's paint everywhere. What's going on? Like, what's the motorist like? What am I supposed to do here? So you can't just paint anything on the road that you want. And as far as infrastructure, whatever committee you want to take it to, ultimately DPW is in charge of the infrastructure. And I cannot have people painting things on my infrastructure, or hanging things on bridges, or hanging things on traffic lights, or light poles. That's all infrastructure. And like I said, it's DPW has sole jurisdiction over the infrastructure. Commissioner of Public Works, I'm the Commissioner of Public Works and the city engineer. The Commissioner of Public Works part is I have the jurisdiction over all the public infrastructure. So I can't just allow people to do, because of political reasons, like crosswalks. Let's paint them, rainbows, or let's paint them green, or let's paint them black. I cannot do that. So that's because there's rules and regulations, and there's maintenance issues, and there's, if you let one message, then you have to let all the messages. And who's going to be in charge of deciding what messages, and where can they be painted, where it can't be painted. So I think that, just having one policy basically that says, the infrastructure, you want to make a statement, you can make it anywhere else. There's, you can make your statement anywhere you want, but not on the public infrastructure. That's not what it's there for.
So it doesn't matter what committee this gets referred to. Eventually, it's gonna come back to DPW.
Okay,
So,
Not to mention where they want to put it on Kimball Street. That would be suicide trying to get up a banner right there.
okay, so I have a motion. Do I have a second?
yeah, 1 second.
I'm gonna take this by unanimous consent unless somebody is opposed.
I'm opposed.
Okay, so that, then I will go with what the DPW commissioner has stated, and so that I am third then, so that is a 3-1 in favor, against, to withdraw. Next item on the agenda, 24620, Counselor Marcus DiNatale and Counselor Marisa Fleming on behalf of resident Tyler Scipione to petition the city to replace the sidewalk in front of 89 Highland Ave. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
Yeah, you know,
Again, okay, I'm not sure if I'm loud enough. Anything on this?
yeah, I mean, it's just like I keep saying about, sidewalk repairs and, it's,
We'll get to them.
I mean, it's, we have a long list of, approved petitions for berms and aprons and sidewalk repairs, and it's, we just don't, we don't have the demand. I mean, we could do that whole street, if everybody comes in, I want my sidewalk fixed, I want my, we don't really do little segments at a time. We try to do a whole street, like we're saying with Summer Street. We're gonna do the whole street at once. And I think that's gonna cover actually a couple petitions that you have approved in the past, but that's what we're trying to do, is fix whole streets at a time.
Right, and with some of the work being done and with the green, with the trees coming in.
Yes. So DPW applied for a greening the gateway cities program for $20,000. So they give us $20,000 for tree work. So what we actually did is in the IFB that I just mentioned for Summer Street, we included tree pits. So Summer Street, if you're coming inbound into downtown on Summer Street, we're going to put some tree pits on the right side where the sidewalk is nice and wide. So as part of that contract, they're going to put in tree pits and pay for it through that grant. And then we'll plant little small trees, not, you got a utility lines, you got sidewalk issues. So there'll be just something to green it up, and also for green stormwater infrastructure. So it's not all sidewalks, so you have some infiltration. So that $20,000 will be part of that Summer Street project.
Okay, so, so how are we gonna proceed with this one? We're just gonna put it on the list of areas, or we're not going to approve it at the moment? Because we don't know when we'd get to it anyways, based on the budget.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
it needs to be done,
Yeah.
add it to the list. I
We
mean,
can
it's
put it
not
on
a
the
guarantee
list and
that
just, right, okay,
it will get done anytime soon, but at least it's identified, it's acknowledged, and we can try to fit it in.
I agree with Andy on this one.
okay. Motion?
Make a
Motion
motion
to
to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Unanimous consent? Okay, it's approved and on the list.
Councilor Fleming, can I ask for clarification on the first motion? It was 3-1 against withdrawing it?
It was 3-1 in favor of withdrawing.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to refer it to the Legislative Affairs Committee, Nick. That's why I opposed it.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Okay. So 046-20, Councilors Marisa Fleming and Marcus DiNatale to declare Ethia Street a public way. Unless there's any communication from from the property owners, developer's attorney, I guess we will continue to hold this. Do I have a motion?
Motion to hold.
Second,
Okay, and I'll take this by unanimous consent. 089-20, Counselor Bernie Schultz and resident Alex Freeman to remove the no turn on red sign at the intersection of John T. Centrino, and I believe there was a spelling fix on Centrino, Memorial Drive and Water Street.
Yes, we were contacted by the fire department. This bridge was named after a fallen firefighter. And the actual spelling is Cetrino, Cetrino. So it just, the petition was misspelled, that's all. If we can amend that.
I'll make a motion to amend.
seconded,
Okay, I'll take that by unanimous consent. And this was held on 10/28/20. Do we have any further communication on this?
Yeah, so the reason that, so that traffic light actually is an offset traffic light, meaning there's a light at the intersection of the Cetrino Bridge and Water Street. And then that signal also has another intersection, which is, what's the name of that? It's the little court,
yeah, Boyle Court.
Boyle Court.
Yeah, you were gonna investigate that, Nick, to see if we could work the lights out, so we could do that. the last one.
Yeah, so it looks like, so yeah, I got to do some more homework on that, but basically the reason that the no turn on right on red is because when Cetrino has the red light, Boyle Court might have the green light. So if you turn, you might be turning into a permitted phase. So it's there for safety. So I think that what we discussed was, can we remove the signal for Boyle Court? And speaking to the police department, they thought that would not be a good idea. So, I mean, I can do some more investigation.
Yeah, I think that would warrant, I think it would be nice if we'd be able to somehow do that, Nick. At least Mr. Freeman was certainly in favor of doing that, and some other people as well.
Okay, so where you're gonna have to check on the safety of this issue, would this maybe be referred to the safety committee before it comes back here, or?
No, I mean, it's a traffic engineering issue.
Okay,
So, it belongs with engineering, DPW engineering. So now, like I said, now that we have some consultants on board too, we might be able to, have them look at it a little bit.
So if I remember correctly, one of the thoughts of a possible fix was to make Boyle Court a right turn only,
Right.
because the side streets do allow traffic to filter down for traffic that's going northbound on Water Street. And I think that might further, warrant further investigation to see if that would eliminate that conflicting turning pattern and just allowing cars to move a little more, but we can see what's possible and what's worth it in the end.
Yeah, I remember that, Andy, now that it was going to be right turn only out of Boyle Court. Yeah.
So should we hold this further?
I think so. Make a motion to hold.
I'll
Second.
second that.
okay, we'll take that by unanimous consent to be held. Final petition 177-20, Councilor Paul Boschman to petition the city to add a berm in front of 78 St. Joseph's Ave in order to address the water and sand issues faced by residents in the winter. Berm should be placed from the start of the sidewalk to the berm on Daniel Street. And this was actually held from July 2020. Do we have any further updates on this?
No, I think we'll just have to look at it again. I haven't gotten any updates on it.
Okay,
Motion to hold?
Seconded.
we'll take this by unanimous consent. All in favor, aye, and I just need a motion to adjourn unless there's any other business.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.